Thank you, Ms. Howard. I've been trying to pull that thing up. It wouldn't let me share it. I don't think I got
Can,
control to do it.
can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. I
Okay,
couldn't.
I
I
because
couldn't.
I had to play with it,
Yeah, I was over here trying to figure out like why I couldn't pull it up.
and I don't know how to make it bigger. Is it full screen or half screen?
It's full screen. It's
Oh, it
great.
is?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's great.
Okay, well, I guess we'll wait a few more minutes. We have one guest in. We'll wait a few more minutes, see if Coville makes it home in time.
Okay. She might not, man. She got a ride. I'll read hers.
Okay. Good evening. We're just waiting a few more minutes for some more parents to arrive. It is a little bit of a travel time. Good evening, Miss Coville.
Good evening. I just walked through my door.
It's okay. I got it up.
I appreciate
We've got two parents in so far. I was gonna wait till 5 after, and then we can get started.
you. Oh, 1 minute? Okay.
Yes. So parents, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and type them in the chat, or you can use the hand feature to pause us so we can stop and take your question. We'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to our curriculum night for the year 21-22. This is fifth grade. Our agenda for curriculum night, we'll have introductions, schedules. We'll talk about classroom and building expectations, the ELA content, math content, science and social studies, communication assignments. We'll give some reminders and we'll take questions at the end. So we have our amazing 5th grade teachers. I'm Miss Howard. I teach reading and writing, ELA.
I'm Ms. Colville. I teach math, science, and social studies.
Mr. Gray, you're muted.
Thank you. I'm Mr. Gray, and I teach reading and writing.
And we have Miss Anderson. She's actually in class right now. So Miss Anderson teaches math, science, and social studies. Okay. So this is the schedule if your child is in Miss Howard or Mr. Gray's homeroom. Okay, so they have arrival, announcements. We have student success skills, specials, intervention, their ELA, lunch recess, ELA, and then dismissal. They have the same schedule for Coville and Anderson, except it's math.
So
Okay,
I'll go
this
ahead
is
and take
barking.
this one.
Go ahead.
Yes. All right, parents. So of course we have this matrix that we abide by. This is our school values, our pride matrix. So nothing has changed since the beginning of the year. Our classroom and school expectations are the same. So we just wanted to input this in this presentation just to remind you of what we expect from our students. As always, respecting the school and themselves, having personal responsibility. So we definitely are trying to push that since they are transitioning soon to 6th grade. So having that responsibility to remember to bring their devices to and from home, bringing whatever tools that they need to be successful, whether it be a math notebook, whether it be an ELA packet that's assigned to them, just having that personal responsibility to bring that back and forth. And self-discipline is a big one that we're encouraging of them, to make sure that they can, maintain their self-composure throughout the school day. I'll do this one since you did the first few slides. As for our expectation of you all parents, we definitely expect you all to make sure that your students are coming to school with masks. As we know, masks are now mandatory for our students with the current rates of COVID. We definitely don't want your students to get sick. We don't want to get sick, and we don't want them to bring any ailments to your household. So if you can just encourage them to say, hey, make sure you're wearing your mask and that they are sent to school with a mask daily. Also, if you could help your students with their multiplication facts. We are almost approaching GMAS. So those timetables, those multiplication timetables, if you haven't already done so, if you could get a pack from the Dollar Tree and help your student with that. And also encourage them to get on iReady at home. 10 to 15 minutes a day will be great. So 10 to 15 minutes on iReady reading, 10 to 15 minutes on iReady math, and just pushing them to make sure that not only are they getting on, but that they're trying their best to pass the lessons that are on it. And in the event that someone in your household or your student tests positive for COVID, if you all as parents could please report that to the school district. We submitted the link earlier in the beginning of the semester in Dojo, but we can submit it again and post it. So again, if your student tests in the event, unfortunately, they test positive for COVID, please report it to the school district as soon as possible so that proper steps can be taken. I'll do Anderson's. For grades, we know that grades should be updated in Infinite Campus bi-weekly. So students should start receiving grades really soon. We just finished our first month back. If they don't already have grades in there, you should expect to see some very soon. Progress reports and report cards, no longer, as we know from first semester, they aren't sent home via paper. They are all digital. So if you don't have access to Infinite Campus, your students have access to their own grades. So if you can't see them on your end, just ask your students, say, hey, pull up your Infinite Campus, and they will be able to share their grades with you. Our major grades are 50% of their 50% of their overall grade. That includes major unit tests and projects. Minor grades are 40%, which are quizzes, various tasks that we may give them, and then of course homework is only 10% of their grade. So so if you all ask us to allow your students to make up homework, that's only 10% of their grade. Our main focus is making sure that they're successful on these tests, unit assessments, and those heavy hitters. I'll allow ELA teacher to go over this on what you all are currently and will be teaching in the future for the remaining of the semester.
Okay, so ELA reading skills for 5th grade. We are continuing to work on determining multiple main ideas, explaining events, procedures, ideas, and concepts while citing evidence. The main idea, supporting details and summarization, explaining the author's use of evidence, text structure, identifying and determining the theme, comparing and contrasting characters, events, and settings, as well as text structures. Content clues, story elements, and building reading stamina. We're also working on for the writing, the language arts portion of ELA, writing in complete sentences, understanding fragments and run-ons, punctuation, capitalization, commas, quotations, and dialogues, subject-verb agreement, building vocabulary, verb tense, figurative language, and multiple meaning words and phrases. All of this, we started at the beginning of the year. We are continuing on, and we're just expecting a bit more from them. It's no longer an introduction, but more of lots of practice with each of these skills for reading and writing. Writing includes narrative writing, opinion writing, informational writing. We include the planning of the writing, revision and editing, doing research, and proper citing of evidence within their writing. You're muted.
All right. You want me to read
You're
this?
still muted, Ms. Coville.
Okay, sorry. So currently for math, we are working on fractions. Fractions are a heavy hitter for our 5th grade. It's heavy in knowing their times tables, those math facts. So right now we are currently on unit 4 with adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing fractions. Their next unit test will be next Friday on this unit. So if you haven't already been working with your students, just if you could, work with them on their times tables, that will be amazing. After that, after this unit is over next week, we're going to go into 2D shapes with geometry, volume and measurement, and coordinate planes. So we are going to be wrapping up math very soon. So yes, so right now we're with fractions. We'll be moving into 2D shapes, volume and measurement, geometry, and the coordinate plane. Miss Bianca, you have a question. You can go ahead and ask that question.
Hey, yes, I wanted to know, can we get copies of this like slideshow that you all have so that I could just go over it with her, like what y'all teaching?
Sure. So it's being recorded. So what we can do is we can drop the link, the recording in Class Dojo. But if you specifically want the slides, I don't see why it would be a problem. If you could put it in the chat, your email, and who's your student?
Janiyah Ross. It's not letting me type because I'm on my phone in here, but I can send it to Miss Anderson. I have her on Class Dojo.
Okay, no worries. You can go to the next slide, Ms. Howard. Also for our skills that will help them be successful as we're starting to try to transition them into 6th grade, it's like we already said, their multiplication facts, those times tables, because math is going to get really hard for them. One thing I've noticed is that they give up. Some of the students tend to give up a little bit easier because the concepts are getting a little bit tougher. So just pushing them to say, hey, keep pushing, don't give up. We're definitely working on breaking down word problems, and we'll be moving into area, volume, and measurement, as I already stated. Go to the next. For social studies and science, we are pretty much wrapping that up. So we'll be moving to a different model when it comes to social studies and science. We'll be integrating social studies more within our ELA lessons and more of our try to within our downtime, whether it be PBIS time or whether it be various other free times that we have. We'll be integrating social studies in at that moment. We'll more so be focusing on science moving forward, as that is something that they will be tested on Georgia Milestones. Currently, we are on classification with science, and we'll be finishing up with that at the end of this week. So we just finished World War II. So the last few units with social studies that we may or may not get to is Cold War and personal finance and America since 1975. So like I previously stated, those topics will be integrated within other lessons. Within science, we're currently on Unit 6 at the very bottom, which is classification. And then the last and final unit is inherited traits and behavior. So we only have one more unit left in science. So after that unit is over, we'll just go back and circle and review all of the other concepts to help prepare them for the Georgia milestone. Mr. Gregg, can you go ahead and take care of this one for us?
Not a problem. Please make sure assignments. So please make sure your child is turning their assignments in on time. I know in my class they've been getting a little bit more homework, and so let's just make sure they're getting that complete as we try to prepare them for their milestones.
And that includes for ELA, making sure that they are getting their lessons done for iReady reading. Those are lessons that give them a score and lets us know what small group they should be into to help reinforce skills where there might be misconceptions.
Okay, port end of the year announcements between April 25th and May 20th. We will share the exact dates closer to the test. Positive student behavior is critical now that we have reached the end of the year. And if you're interested in purchasing a yearbook for your student, please do so online.
So before we move on, I would like to elaborate on this slide. So as Mr. Gray stated, we are approaching Georgia milestones. So it's kind of like crunch time, right? So we're going to be pushing your students a bit harder. We're going to be expecting a lot from them. So it's going to be critical that they are making sure they're focused in school. They're getting enough rest at home because some students like to come to school and sleep. So it's definitely important that we get enough rest at home and do what we need to do to be successful. As it pertains to that positive student behavior, we have a lot of fun things planned at the end of the school year, right? We have field trips, we have field days, we have graduation and other things potential that are coming down the pipeline if COVID will allow us to. So it's going to be so important that students have that positive behavior, that respectful behavior, that self-control, because we cannot allow students to participate in those fun activities if their behavior does not align with what the expectation is. And so we sent home those behavior contracts that were signed. So like we already stated within those emails and that behavior contract, let's band together to make sure our behaviors are aligned so that they can be successful for the rest of this year and for 6th grade. And then that yearbook, your students should have brought home a form to order those yearbooks. If they haven't, if you haven't seen a yearbook form, please ask them for it. They're leaving elementary, so this will be a great way for them to remember their last year in elementary school. So you can order it online. You will not be sending any money to school. No money is to be sent to school for the yearbook. Everything is online.
And there's also an opportunity for you to purchase an ad for your child, how you have a page dedicated to your child with a positive message. So that form was also sent home with yearbook orders. If you didn't receive it and your child doesn't know where it is, just contact your teacher on Class Dojo or via text. We do have extra copies. It would be nice for the students to be able to get the yearbook and see messages from their family members.
So quick reminders. All right. School starts every day at 7:40 and ends at 2 o'clock. The kids do arrive at 7:10 for breakfast. Remember to have your student in proper school attire. February 18th to the 21st, students are off. February 28th, students have a half a day. March 11th and 14th, students are off. March 21st, students have a half day. So if you have not signed the behavior contract, please do so. And check Infinite Campus to see your child's grades.
Just a quick reminder, this Thursday is class picture day. So, just wanted you to remember that so you can put your child in what you want them to wear for class pictures. And if you purchased a picture package and you were not happy with your pictures, bring the pictures back and your child will be allowed to retake their picture. Okay, this Thursday is picture day, class picture day, and makeup day for pictures. Be sure to check Class Dojo on a regular basis to stay updated updated with school and class updates. If you have not joined Class Dojo yet, please see the link below. There's one for Howard and Anderson, and there's also one for Coville and Gray. And do we have any questions? That is the end of the presentation. Are there any questions? I don't see any hands. Do you guys see any hands?
No.
No, really.
Okay. All right. Well, that concludes the presentation for curriculum night. Please be sure to reach out to your child's teacher if you have any questions that come up later. You can reach out via Class Dojo or text message or email. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us for our curriculum night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I love the clapping. I know we had a clapping emoji.
Mm-hmm. So I went ahead and removed the parents from the meeting. So it's being recorded. So you all have an amazing evening. I don't know how we're going to get the recording. Does anybody know how we retrieve the recording, or is that something Miss Fisher was saying?
No, okay, so it's going to be whoever opened up the meeting. Okay, so what's going to happen, it's going to, it should send you an email at some point letting you know your recording is finished. And then you got to go to the live, the videos on the live Teams thing.
Oh no, it's gonna go to Miss Fisher, because as soon as I opened up the meeting, it started recording, and I'm on the recording button, and it says Fisher started recording. So we'll ask her to send it to us so we can post it on Class Dojo.
Got it.
Okay. Have a good one, you guys. I'm glad we were able to get that done in 20 minutes.
You got recorded. No, I'm just kidding.
Bye. I'm hanging up.